ODDspots, where sci-fi and fantasy merge with reality.
Sci-fi dystopian movies are my favorite kind of movies to watch. Not only because of the surreal realities where everything is unpleasant and bad, but because these alternate realities are actually our own reality, reimagined. There is no real difference between, say, the world of Metropolis and our own. In that movie, there are two classes of people, the slave class and the ruling class, just like now. Some of you won't see it this way, but I assure you it's true, and it's only going to become clearer and clearer as time goes on. These dystopian movies may seem far-fetched at times, but the truth is that they are realer than you know. Some plots for these movies are metaphorical, some are more straightforward, and some depict things that are in the future that may not be here yet, but are certainly on the way. Look no further than Minority Report, a 1956 short story that was turned into a film in 2002 and is now becoming a reality in 2017. Police departments all over the plane are partnering up with private companies to use public data, personal information, and algorithms to predict where illegal actions are most likely to occur and who is most likely to commit them. In Minority Report, it's called pre-crime. So with all that said, I would like to get into the movie Snowpiercer, made in 2013. If you haven't seen it, watch it before watching this video. Spoilers ahead. Snowpiercer starts off in 2014 with a chemical known as CW7 being dispersed in the skies. This causes the Earth to freeze over, destroying all life with the exception of the people that boarded the Snowpiercer, which is a massive train powered by a perpetual motion engine that travels a circumnavigational track created by the transportation tycoon Wilford. Also referred to as the Rattling Ark early on in the movie. Rattling Ark equals Noah's Ark, last hope for the future of mankind. By 2031, the elites inhabit the extravagant front cars and the scum inhabit the back of the train, living in poverty. Under watch by Wilford's guards, they are brought only gelatinous protein bars to eat and kept in their place in the social order by Minister Mason.
How about that?
Sometimes small children are chosen and taken to the front. Conspiring with his mentor Gilliam and receiving planted messages that come in pill-sized capsules inside of certain protein bars, Curtis Everett leads the tail passengers in a revolt that he plans will take them all the way up to the engine. Overpowering the guards, they release a security expert and his clairvoyant daughter from the prison car so that they can help them disable the locks between the other cars. They take the car where the food is made and find out that insects are ground up to make the protein bars. This is similar to the food that is made for the general population in real life, pumped full of nastiness including various chemicals, hormones, and GMOs. Gilliam suggests that if they take the subsequent water supply car, they will control any negotiation with Wilford. Instead, they are ambushed by masked men with hatchets under Mason's orders. After a bloody battle, Curtis sacrifices his second-in-command, Edgar, to win the fight. Mason is taken captive and agrees to give free passage to Curtis and the other rebels. As the revolt continues, car by car, each compartment gives a new revelation of the dark nature of the system. regimented eugenics policies.
The number of individual units must be very closely, precisely controlled in order to maintain the proper, sustainable balance.
And schoolhouse indoctrination programs emerge as the most significant, as viewers witness a classroom propaganda video portraying Mr. Wilford as a literal god and savior.
Minister Mason, we were just about to show a video.
Very good.
From a very young age, Mr. Wilford's love of locomotives was apparent.
When I grow up, I'll move on a train forever.
His early dreams were realized when he founded his transportation empire, the Wilford Industries. But his greatest dream was to construct a luxury locomotive cruise line connecting railways of the entire world into one.
A circular railway that extends for 438,000 kilometers and completes one circle every year.
What happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die. But will it stop or will it stop?
No, no!
Can you tell us why?
The engine is eternal, yes! The engine is forever, yes!
Rumble, rumble, rattle, rattle. Who is the reason why? Wilford Young!
Wilford, Wilford, hooray!
While distracted by the celebration of the New Year, marking one circumnavigation of the track, the teacher ambushes them before getting killed herself. Further back, Mason's soldiers use the same distraction to kill the rebel army and many of the tail passengers. Gilliam is executed by a guy named Franco, and Curtis kills Mason in revenge. Curtis's group continues forward. Followed by Franco, leading to a violent fight in the sauna car, during which Franco kills more rebels before Curtis subdues him. At the gate to the engine, the freed security expert reveals that he plans to use a combustible hallucinogen that he has gathered from the elites that they passed as an explosive to blow a hatch to the outside. As he observed signs, the world outside is thawing. Curtis confesses to him that shortly after boarding the train, the tail passengers resorted to cannibalism to survive, and he is haunted by his part in it. He was nearly ready to kill his own friend when Gilliam offered his own arm instead. After years of disdain for Wilford, Curtis seeks to learn what Wilford's intentions are with the class system on the train. Wilford's assailant emerges from the engine, shoots the security expert, and invites Curtis inside where he meets an aging Wilford. Wilford happens to be played by Ed Harris, who played Kristoff in The Truman Show. Actually, it's no coincidence. This is what Hollywood does. Everything is encoded. Wilford reveals to Curtis that his revolution was actually orchestrated by himself and Gilliam to reduce the population and maintain the balance of the sealed ecosystem, and subsequently orders the elimination of 74% of the remaining tail passengers. He explains the importance of using fear and chaos to maintain a necessary order and leadership on the train.
Curtis, dear boy, the fact is we are all stuck inside this blasted train. We are all prisoners in this hunk of metal. And this train is a closed ecosystem. We must always strive for balance. The air, water, food supply, the population must always be kept in balance. For optimum balance, however, there have been times when more radical solutions were required, when the population needed to be reduced rather drastically. We don't have time for true natural selection. We would all be hideously overcrowded and starve waiting for that. The next best solution is to have individual units kill off other individual units. From time to time, we've had to stir the pot, so to speak. The Revolt of the Seven, the McGregor riots, the Great Curtis Revolution. A blockbuster production with a devilishly unpredictable plot. Who could have predicted your counterattack with the torch in the Ekaterina tunnel? Pure genius. That wasn't what Gilliam and I had in our plan.
What?
We need to maintain a proper balance of anxiety and fear, chaos and horror in order to keep life going. And if we don't have that, we need to invent it. In that sense, the great Curtis revolution you invented was truly a masterpiece.
After letting Curtis experience being alone for the first time in 17 years, Wilford asks Curtis to replace him. Curtis appears to be ready to accept, when the security expert's daughter runs in and pulls up a floorboard. Showing Curtis that small children from the tail section are being trapped as replacement parts for extinct machinery. The tail section only serves to provide this resource to the engine. Curtis subdues Wilford and sacrifices an arm to save the young boy from this work. The security expert comes back too, and as he is overrun by the front sectioners, he lights the fuse on the hallucinogen. Him and Curtis tightly embrace the young ones, protecting them from the explosion. The noise triggers an avalanche that derails the train. The security expert's daughter and the young boy, apparently the only survivors, emerge from the wreckage and see a polar bear, proof that life exists outside the train. So you see, this movie is basically the world we live in now, only it takes place on a train. The train is metaphorical for our world. Separated into classes like the feudal system, we have the peasants, the police/military force, and the ruling class. The depopulation aspect is no different than eugenics and is also emblematic of the Georgia Guidestones, where it says to maintain the population under 500 million. The policies of the Guidestones are not yet in use, but these messages are scribed in stone for a reason. The time just hasn't come yet. This film also shows us the truth of staged revolutions and the controlling of both sides of a war by a single entity. And last but not least, using fear and chaos to maintain balance and control, hence order out of chaos. This movie is one of my new favorites, and there are many breakdowns online, mostly comparing the film's story to capitalism and Marxism. One breakdown I would like to direct you to is called Snowpiercer and Mad Max Decoded by Rosette Delacroix. She goes deeper than I do. Link will be in the description. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gone.